What's going on YouTube? Today we're taking a look at the DYu C1 26-inch urban commuter e-bike, and I've been using this bike for the past 2 months to get around this crazy city of mine. So I got a couple thoughts that I'm going to share with you throughout this video, but I just want to go over some of the key facts about the C1 that I really like, especially in this urban environment, especially when you live in an apartment building. Number one is weight. At only about 55 pounds, very easy to get up and down these stairs in New York City. One of the lighter e-bikes that I've come across personally. It also does have 26-inch wheels, as you can see, so perfect for those potholes, perfect for getting around any situation in the city. And there's just a lot of nice features that I like built into this e-bike. But let's go over some of the key specs of this bike. So you do have a built-in kickstand. Definitely super important on a commuter bike, on an urban environment. You want to be able to prop up your bicycle where you are. You do have that carry cage on the back, so you can put all your groceries right on the back there. And I like the fact that they actually give you a strap. So strapping in your goodies is not a problem at all. And you also do have this spring-loaded mechanism as well to keep your packages in place. Really a nice job. And the max capacity load on the back is 25 kilos. And if I just show you the back here, that's where that 350 watt motor is. The DYu C1 also has dual disc brakes, and they do a nice job of stopping you from that 15.5 miles max speed per hour. Here's your front and here's your rear disc brake. Step through design, making it really easy to pop on and pop off of that bike. So perfect for the unisex situation, male or female. It's going to be very easy to get on or off of this bike. And at 6'1", 220, definitely a comfortable bike. Now let's just take a look at the battery, guys. So the battery is a 36 volt, 10 amp hour battery, and you have a couple different ways that you can charge it. You can charge it while it's situated within the bike, so you just have to plug it right there. Or of course, you can pop out the battery just like this. If you have an extra battery pack, you can swap them out, and you can see the charging port right on the bottom there. Now the battery also does let you know the capacity. So if you press on the button here, you'll be able to see the battery capacity. But a really nice design. I like that the battery just snaps right in and kind of looks in place with the frame there. Definitely super nice. Now on the front here as well, you do have a lockout. So if you don't want shocks, that front shock system, you can disable the shocks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the bike as well. A really nicely integrated readout. So right on the front here, you have an integrated readout, and it is super easy to read in daylight. No issues reading this readout in daylight, or especially at night. Really clear. And again, I like that it's integrated into that stem. Nice design from DYu. Here are your seven gears, easily selectable. No doubt about that. Next to your throttle, there's your little throttle right here. And if we take a look at the different modes available, you'll see you have an M button, and this is your mode once again. So if I get really close, let's get to this display here. You can see it's on E, so you have 3 different modes that you can choose from. E I'm going to call is Echo. Now Echo basically gives you zero power output. It's really light. So if you're going on a really long trip, you're going to want to leave that on Eco. The next mode that we have is D, and I'm just going to call this one Drive. Now I did reach out to DYu, and they couldn't really tell me what they stood for, so I'm just saying D is for Drive. Now Drive is going to give you a little bit more output on that throttle. And it takes about 3 rotations, 2.5, 3 rotations for that motor to kick in. And if you really want to get things moving and sporty, you put it in S mode. That's your sport mode. And this is going to give you the most power output from that 350 watt motor on the back there. Now I'll get into range and whatnot in just a little bit as well, but I like the fact that we have different modes available. And of course, for riding at night, you do have an integrated light on the front there. Nicely done. Again, I like everything about this bike. Now the only thing I would suggest is, especially for an urban commuter, I would actually like an electronic horn. Now my bell here actually was broken during delivery, so I'm actually not able to use it. But I think having an integrated electronic little siren would have been the way to go, especially on an urban commuter. Now that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. Overall, I think the C1 from DYu is a really nice looking bike, a really nice commuter. And it's something I would recommend if you're going on short trips, if you're just going around town, picking up groceries, going to meet friends for dinner or drinks. Maybe not drinks so much, but definitely for dinner. The DYu C1 is a really nice bike. and I think it's something that most of you are really going to enjoy. Now let's go ahead and talk about speed and range on the DYu C1 here. Now the C1 is a nice commuter bike once again. I think it's an overall nice bike for the city. The only thing is, if you're going on long trips, this is not going to be the bike that I'd recommend. Again, they do market it as the city commuter, so I'm not knocking any points on the C1. With 15.5 miles an hour max speed, it's a little bit on the slow side in my opinion. But going around town, picking up groceries, you're stop and go in traffic anyway, so I didn't really feel it too much. The only time when I thought I was going a little bit too slow is when I was going on a leisurely ride up to the George Washington Bridge. I really felt like the bike was struggling, especially on those hills. Again, the motor is about 350 watts with 500 watts peak power. So it is on the smaller side. Again, perfect for commuting, perfect for just getting around town. But for those of you that want to get out and kind of bike around and sightsee, they do have other options for you. Now the max I've ever gotten on this thing was about 25 miles per hour, and that was going down a really steep hill. So 25 was the max I got. Again, really steep decline. And going up hills, quite honestly, again, maybe it's my weight pushing 220 pounds on this bicycle. If you have a really steep hill, you are going to do most of the work with those pedals. That motor definitely gives out on some steeper hills there. So again, more intended for that city commute, that urban commute, and less intended for the leisurely getaway into the park system or into the wilderness. But with those 26-inch tires, if you wanted to go into the wilderness, if you wanted to go through some grass or rocks or pebbles, or even a little dirt or sand, the bike is definitely going to let you do that. Again, a nice overall universal type of bike with more emphasis on the urban environment, more emphasis on the urban commute, getting to work, going to Trader Joe's, getting your groceries and coming back home. Now in terms of range, it's pretty close to their rated range. I got about 24 miles per charge, and again, that's using sport mode. I didn't really use the eco mode because eco mode is definitely too slow for me, so I always kept it on sport mode. What I like about sport mode is too, you do a couple rotations and it's going to maintain that 15 mile an hour speed. So 24 miles I think is actually pretty decent on this bike. If you want to squeeze out another, let's call it another 10 miles of range, you can put it on eco mode. You could be a little less power hungry on that throttle. But trust me guys, you're going to want to keep that throttle down, at least mostly that's the case with me. 24 miles to go to the grocery store, 24 miles to go to the local cafe is definitely more than enough, and I was able to cross over to Brooklyn. I was able to do a lot. 24 miles is really a nice amount of range for a commuter bike. So what are my final thoughts on the DYu C1? I think it's a really good commuter bike. I've gone to Trader Joe's, I've gone to Whole Foods, I've gone to cafes and restaurants to meet friends. Definitely more than enough power from that battery pack to get me where I need to get to. And it's a great overall bike just to move around the city. If you don't want to take mass transportation, you don't want to take that subway, you don't want to take that bus, you want to put transportation in your own hands, the C1 is definitely the way to do it. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in another video.